Hey guys, welcome to Riders Meeting for round number 6 at Red Bud. I'm your host, Brent Bowser. We're here today with Jeff Beaver, who was not at Red Bud, which first race he's missed. I'm not sure why, he decided to miss this
Can
one.
imagine what's behind my hand, Brent.
I mean, I think you had more fun though. I think being out at Quia Creek this today was way more fun than Red Bud, right?
Well, hey, we got to film with this kid Cody, who's rad, and he's racing the Work Series, doing real well. He may get the title this year, hopefully. So we had a young buck out there riding an '05 Honda 450 that I rebuilt, and we built it up for kind of like a weekend warrior desert NGPC works type of bike, and he had a blast on it. And we're gonna put it out sometime next week on our YouTube. Sick bike, dude. He said it was super fun. He said it was like a modern 250 on steroids almost. So
Yeah.
I was pretty proud of that, because when I got that bike, it was more clapped out than Joe Biden at a political rally. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it sucks. Wasn't a Red Bud, but got to go up to the mine tomorrow and got a 10-hour drive, and it just wasn't in the cards.
Got to pay the bills, right? We all
Yeah.
have to do it. Yeah, this week in Red Bud, 4th of July weekend, fans at Red Bud are insane. The track was awesome. It looked like in the morning it was a little muddy, but I feel like I watched practice on Peacock and it was deep. But the way it basically shaped up for the motos, I thought the track was awesome. I've never been to Red Bud. I need to make it there, but I feel like the fans were insane and the guys had a good time out there today. We'll jump straight into the 250 class. Chance Hymas going 4-1 for the overall win. Awesome for Chance. He got that moto win early in the year. And that first moto, he got out front and started checking out. And that track was pretty smooth. I saw they did a lot of work on it before Moto 1. So when he got out front, man, he was really sending it. I don't know if he just pushed too hard in the beginning because the track was so smooth that he ended up coming back to those guys and getting fourth that first moto, which he looked tired of about 8 minutes ago. Like you could see his physique changed, but yeah, he backs it up Moto 2, and yeah, Chance Hymas gets his first overall of his career, and it's at Red Bud. So awesome ride for Chance Hymas.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That would have been cool to sit there and film that and see it. But hey, it was actually kind of nice to watch it on TV. And then when it was over, I was home, so there
Yeah.
was one advantage to that. That's a long haul out to Red Bud. Um, he got a 5-point penalty in his purse dock. That was pretty stiff. I guess he jumped on the red flag at some point, is what happened.
Yeah, it said that he jumped on the red cross flag, which they didn't show a replay, and I didn't see it that first moto. They docked him 5 championship points. So instead of gaining 5 points on Deegan this weekend, it was just a wash. They let him keep his moto scores. They just docked him points, so he still got the overall. And yeah, he lost out on some purse money. But yeah, I didn't see it. They didn't replay it. No one mentioned anything during the broadcast, so it was kind of weird as we went into Moto 2 and they mentioned that he was docked 5 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a tough one on those red flags. I mean, sometimes those guys don't see them, and they're like last week at Southwick, on that back straightaway after the old finish line. There was or no, I'm sorry, when you came back up to go back around to the new finish line, where you kind of have that up and down section.
Oh
There was
yeah.
a guy down on the bottom waving the red flag, but the guys were already committed jumping off that ledge by the time you see him. So
Yeah.
that's kind of a tough one. I think it'd be cool if they outfitted the bikes with the leader lights and could have an AMA official that you know have them alternate colors. I mean, I know everybody's got a suggestion, and it all
Yeah.
costs money, but if you could have somebody that click like an orange, or a blinking red light, solid red light mean red flag the race, a blinking red light means there's a red cross flag, and at least hey,
Hmm.
keep an eye out, and have it go off in their section. I don't know how you do it,
Yeah.
but uh, with the modern technology we have now, we got to find a little bit better way. Cause I don't think any of those guys are doing it on purpose. And
No,
that's a stiff penalty, you know?
it is. Yeah. Like you said, like, if he didn't have that, he would have gained 5 points on Hayden this weekend, which, I mean, he's still a little far ways back in the points, but that's 5 more points that he would have had. You think of like go-kart racing and things like that, they have where they can basically retard the engine when there's a issue with what's on the track. I don't know if we'd ever get that detailed because there's probably a lot of issues that
That'd
could
be a
be.
bad idea though. What if somebody was going up to the face of a triple in an area and they hit the retard? He may be
Yeah.
retarded when they gets done with that because he came up
Yeah.
short. You know, that could be
Yeah.
dirty,
And
dude.
yeah, and I think the best thing is like just I feel like there's just always we've seen over the years the issues with flagging. We'll talk about Hayden's crash that second moto, which was on, that bike was down on the track and he ended up landing on that bike. But again, there was no flagger around. It's like I know they get these flaggers as more of like volunteers and maybe pay him a little bit, but it's obviously not a group that travels around. So every race, it's probably a new set of flaggers, and you see these same things over and over. So it's unfortunate. Again, we didn't see what happened to Hymas on that red flag. They didn't even have a replay of it. So I don't even know what crash it could have been because there wasn't really anybody on the ground that I could see around that had a big enough crash like that. So yeah, I'm not sure,
Yeah,
but
you would think that I'm sure they're discussing it. I mean, Jim Perry's heading all that stuff up and he takes his job very seriously. And, um, I wouldn't want to have Jim's job, and he's running around like a madman, looking everywhere the entire motos. He's like a hawk. So he's trying his hardest, and it's not for lack of effort on their part. And you can't take you got to when you have humans involved,
yeah.
there's a human
Mhm.
factor. So I like that Brett Downey Foundation,
Mhm.
that Budman's doing. I would love to see them a little more involved in the lighting and
Yeah. Yeah.
that kind of stuff. I think that would be a big improvement.
Agreed. That would
But
help if you can somehow have, it's a lot of work and a lot of things you guys set up on the track. But again, if you can have something on every jump that had a light or a caution or whatever, then you could see it. But yeah,
yeah, even if the face of every jump had a red flag light and
hmm
a rider down light, and even Nate came up or said a good one today, have a blue light that if you go by, somebody can, if
lapping, yeah,
lappers come by, they can hit the blue light, then get the hell out of the line.
yeah, and
So
if everything's clear, keep it green or something, right? So or no light at all.
yeah,
So
no light. If it's clear, go.
yeah, so definitely, yeah. It's again, we didn't see that, but yeah, either way, awesome ride for Chance Hymas. Again, we saw him get that moto win earlier in the year, gets his first overall. Again, I didn't expect him to come out second moto the way he did after that first moto, getting out front, pulling a gap, and fading back a little bit. But yeah, it was good to see, and we've seen these flashes from Chance, and he's finally putting it all together. So it's awesome to
And what a
see.
place to get your first win.
Oh,
You
dude,
know,
those
in
listen.
Supercross, I would think Daytona, and there would be Red Bud.
Yeah, listening to all the podium interviews, man, those fans were insane.
Yeah.
it was wild. I mean, those guys probably couldn't even hear what the questions are being asked. So
Joe's like, what?
yeah, yeah. At that point, you just wave to the fans and say whatever you got to say on the mic and get out of there. But yeah, it was Red Bud is an awesome weekend. I saw the video of them panning over all the camping and like lot B and stuff like that. So if you guys are ever in a mood to party, I'm too old for that nowadays, but go to lot B. It'll be a fun weekend for sure. So,
Could you imagine if AP won today?
oh God.
Lot B would have won. It would have been a mushroom cloud. That place would have just spontaneously combusted.
Honestly, I was waiting for him because and we'll talk about 450s, but real quick, I was waiting for him to shotgun a beer because he did the same thing. I think it was last year when he got on the podium. So he got second this weekend. I was waiting for him to go over there, one of the fans grab a beer and shotgun it. He did it last year. So he looked a
Well, at
little
least he didn't
sick.
get a dildo thrown at him again.
Oh, yeah, dude. That was why.
Been like, no.
And then Ty Masterpool goes 1-5 for second overall. That first moto was insane. Again, he's probably thinking to himself, like, can I just get a moto win without Hayden Deegan all over me? You know what I mean? That last lap first moto was those guys were pushing. they're beyond the red line of their bodies and heart rate. They were, the last lap of the moto, 35 minutes in. He gets the win that moto. I think it maybe left him a little flat for Moto 2, but all things considered, 1.5 for Ty Masterpool getting second overall, and it's awesome to see. I was stoked, dude. When that last lap, I was an inch away from my TV screen. I did not want Hayden to get him. I thought it's a cool story that Ty's been doing. So, yeah,
Yeah, me
congrats.
and me and Nate wanted to throw rocks at you when you were texting the group. Like, thanks, bro. Something happened there. We were out filming, and Brent hit our group text up. Oh, Masterpool, what a motor run, dude! Shut up.
Hey, he could have got third. You didn't know,
Nah, bullshit. You wouldn't have texted us for a third. But
yeah, that was awesome.
I don't think Hayden smoked himself on that first moto. He was heading in, and
He looked fresh. I will be honest. When I saw,
he was getting it, dude. His fitness is second to none. Even Ty admitted on the podium that he was good that first moto, and 20 minutes into the second moto, he hit his wall. He just didn't get his training camp in, and
Makes
the
sense,
fact that he's doing what he did after having his appendix removed is pretty impressive. But
yeah.
The whole second moto, I was sitting there wondering, what the hell is going on with Hayden? He didn't get good starts, but he came through the crowd and he was right on him. And I was like, all right, here we go again. We're going to have High Point over again,
Yeah, I
and
know. Same.
is he going to get him? And then when he was sitting around 8th, 6th, 8th, whatever, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Did he crash or, and that was my first thought is he smoked? But there's no way that kid smoked, dude,
Yeah.
I know it was pretty humid out there. I talked to Blue Groove today and she told me that, that the humidity was going to go pretty high. So I was like, well, maybe it caught him off guard. He hasn't lived out east very long. He may not be acclimated completely to it, but he does train in Florida. So
Yeah, right. You think
probably
he'd
a
be
stupid
fine.
comment, but yeah, and then Brian puts up that picture of him doing the cartwheel over landing on that kid's bike, and I don't fault that kid. That kid ate crap, dude.
Yeah,
And
no, yeah.
he was trying to get out of the way, and that was unfortunate that bike was down. And unfortunately, a friend of mine lost her dad 20 years ago back in Northern California to a situation like that. He landed on a bike coming over a jump and went over just like Hayden did, but he
Dude,
didn't get up. So
yeah, that was wild.
I'm
Like,
very, very, very lucky.
yeah, when you come over a jump, especially that the jump is not small, and then you come over the jump and you look down, you see a bike. There is literally nothing you can do. And yeah, I didn't. Again, the whole second moto, I'm like, what happened to Hayden? He's way back. Like he was catching up, and then he kind of was back, and then and then I saw after the race that post that was on Instagram, and dude, that was wild. He's lucky again that he finished in 6th where he finished,
I'm just
because
glad the kid didn't get hurt, dude.
yeah, that could have been easily broken anything,
Or land on the kid who was on the track. God, you imagine?
Yeah, that's scary, and that's the stuff you don't like to see. We saw that at round 1 at Paula Fox Raceway with Marchbanks and everybody on that roller and press day. We saw that same guy that Hayden landed on his bike when Ty and the Owl went by that second moto, where the guy was in front of him. I don't know if he hit neutral or what happened, spun off the face in a low gear, but anyway, he's endoing, and then Ty and
so the guy who endoed in front of
yeah,
Vial
that's him.
is the same guy.
Same guy. Yeah, same guy. Yeah, he endoed, right. Those guys got. And then, yeah, the bike was still laying there and no one was flagging or anything. And then Hayden comes over that jump, like he does every lap, and there's that bike.
That dude needs to quit racing moto and take up crochet. The universe is speaking to him. When you do 2 wrecks like that, no, time to call it a day, bud.
Yeah. So, but yeah, bummer for Hayden. He ends up 2.6 on the day. He looked really fast. I feel like that first moto, he was just letting the track and the race come to him because it was so smooth in the beginning. He let Chance get out there a little bit. Ty got out there. Tom Vial was out front, had that little tip over, and we'll talk about Tom's race in a minute. But I feel like just Hayden was sitting back and really dropped the hammer. But man, Ty responded, and it was a showdown to that very last corner. Like even through the sand rollers, it was close.
Yeah, it was gnarly.
Joe Shimoda goes 5.2 for 3rd overall. Solid ride that second moto. I thought he was going to get Chance there at the end. He closed in. He was within a second, and then I don't know if Chance picked it up or if Joe was just trying, really hard those last 2 laps and made some mistakes. But yeah, solid second moto from Joe. 5-2 for third. So yeah, I don't think there's a lot to complain there. I think if he's up front off the start, he can run with those guys. He doesn't always have the best luck coming through the pack. So yeah, good ride from Joe Shimoda. Tom Vial goes 3-4 for fourth. Yeah, that first moto, man, he was up front, in front of those guys, in second behind Hymas, right in front of Masterpool, and then he goes in that corner before that tabletop, and looks like he just cross-rutted with his front end or whatever, and it just tucked, and he just fell over, and then he was stuck under the bike for a minute, and then I think Hayden and Ty got by, but yeah, still solid for Tom. 3-4 for fourth. Again, he's far back in the championship points, but he qualified first. He's wanting to get some moto wins under his belt, but still not a bad ride from Tom.
Yeah. I don't know. He's got to figure something out. He's watching this championship slip away big time.
Yeah. Actually, I want to go back to Ty Masterpool. So he wins the overall at High Point. He gets second overall at Red Bud, wins a moto. So he's got 2 moto wins, and maybe he was close to getting another overall. We know he's had his struggles in Supercross, but you can't deny his talent on a dirt bike. He won an overall, won another moto, second overall. There's not a lot of room on these 250 factory teams like Pro Circuit, Star, HRC, all these things. Do you see, and it would be unfortunate, but do you see him getting a ride out of the results he's putting in, or do you think he's just really the odd man out still because of his Supercross and just the teams being full?
If Pro Circuit doesn't sign him, somebody's gonna. I mean, he'd be crazy not to see what he can do with good equipment. And unfortunately, if I was going to think that Pro Circuit was going to sign him, I think when the music stops playing, the person without a chair, unfortunately, I think it's probably going to be Max Voland.
Yeah.
Who know? I have no clue where he's at in his recovery, but I would think that unless he's got a signed and sealed and delivered contract for 25.
No, I mean they've re-signed McAdoo, they've re-signed Hammaker. Kitchen has a 2-year deal. Forkner, which I haven't heard if he signed anything, but I feel like Cowie keeps him around. He's had those issues, and so really the only.
But when Forkner comes back, he rips, dude.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, 100%. That's why he keeps his ride. Yeah, really, I think the only person that is not and they're bringing Marchbanks back. So is that Voland's ride? I don't know. That's already 5 guys. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I just hope Ty has shown more than enough already through 6 rounds on a bike he rode one time before the first round. I mean, he's got the talent. Again, Supercross is maybe not a strong suit, so to speak, but dude, you can't go out there and win and be on the podium and if you don't have a ride, that's pretty sad for our sport.
I'd like to see Triumph pick him up.
Something. I mean, dude, the kid he's good. So
move Savacci up to the 450.
Add another bike, I don't know.
Put him on the 250. That bike's damn good for a first-year bike. I don't know what's going on with Savacci. I think he had another seance with running over black cats and breaking mirrors, but he's one of those kids who practices that voodoo bullshit. But I don't know. I feel bad for the dude, man. He is just having a bad day.
Yeah, I know. For what he expected coming to the season, I don't think it's really turned out the way that he's wanted it to. Levi Kitchen goes 6-3 for sixth. Levi's had a struggle the past few rounds. Not what he wants. He got back on the podium that second moto. He was up in the title fight, and he thought, and we all thought he was going to be a title contender this season. Just hasn't really happened. That second moto, he did obviously put in a charge and got it over. Got a third on the podium for the second moto, 6th overall. But yeah, even he said on the podium he needs to be better. I don't know if it's still adapting the bike outdoors, if it's different than Supercross, but I just expected more from Kitchen from what we've seen so far this year.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that he passed Masterpool back.
Yeah,
but I don't think it would have made a difference on the overall at that point. But Yeah, he's getting better.
Yeah, it's like he's just had this quick fall. Like, Superhouse was really good. Obviously, he almost won the championship. Him and RJ came down to that. And then he started out the season strong. I thought he was gonna be in the battle for the championship hunt. And then it's just been kind of, I don't want to say so because those results are still really good at 6'3", but just from
He
what I
definitely
guess,
wins a title for raddest hair.
yeah, oh I know he keeps yeah. Red, white, and blue this weekend. He had cheetah print on opening round, but I don't want to say 6'3" is so, but just from what I guess we expect, I'm sure Levi expects from himself, it's just so, right? So
Yeah. Joe's waking up.
yeah, no, I know Joe. Yeah, like I said, he's 5'2" for third. Unfortunately, he's pretty far back in the points, but again, I feel like is this the typical mid late season Joe Schmoder where we'll see him up front a lot more because the championship pressure is off of him.
It was cool after the motos to see him run up and congratulate Chance and sit with him. And
It
I
was
thought that was
cool.
pretty cool, like the camaraderie between the teammates. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, and for everything you hear, Joe Shimoda is a really nice guy, and some of the things you hear is he needs to be more aggressive on the track. But that was cool to see him going up to Chance, like congratulating him, even though he was trying all the things he can do to get on that second moto. So that's awesome. It's got to be a between Lawrence brothers and Chance and Joe. It's got to be a pretty cool atmosphere over there at Honda HRC.
Yeah, what a kind of a crappy day for Honda this week, but the Chance was definitely the icing on the cake and Joe. So
Yeah,
at least the 250 boys stepped it up.
yeah, definitely. Casey Cochran, 7-9 for seventh. That's a solid ride from Casey. I picked him in some of the fantasy games I play because I know he won the Moto Combine a couple of years ago here. I feel like this is kind of his style of track from where he grew up and trains. And so his rookie season 7-9 for seven. The dude's solid. I feel like he's just on his way up, and I don't know if you can really ask much more from Casey Cochran.
No, he's going in the right direction. I know Nate's got to be stoked for him and get Guillaume back over here, and you got Beavis and Butthead back together, and they'll be dialed.
Yeah, agreed. So solid ride from Casey. Great rookie season so far. Just keep it going. Ryder D goes 13-7. I'm not really sure what happened that first moto because he was up towards the front, but even then, get to seventh in the second moto. Solid 2 weeks in a row, really, with Southwick. We're not from Bakersfield, Bako Boy shout out, but we're not really sand riders. So for him to get a top 10 at Southwick and then to back it up with an 8th place finish at Red Bud, yeah, solid ride. He was up front for a while at first moto again. I don't know what happened, but yeah, step in the right direction for Ryder D.
I was pretty stoked on that to see him go in the right direction. Last week his mom messaged me after I put up a post on press day and said, "Hey, he's starting to believe. He's starting to get his confidence, and that's good." And I said,
Yeah,
"Good. He's going to be a pain in the ass when he figures it out, right?"
yeah.
Great kid.
Mhm.
Got all the talent under the hood. He's just got to dust off the cobwebs between the ears and get some. But it'd be fun to see him getting up there and getting aggressive and battling because the guy can ride.
Yeah, he has the speed. He puts in those one lap heaters and his style and technique on the bike. And I think a lot of it, what these guys deal with, were especially like Ryder D and some of these other guys out of the amateur ranks, where they won so much as an amateur, and then they get in the pros, and it's like I don't know if they're not used to not winning, but it's like they have to like believe in themselves that they can win at this level too. So I don't know that mental game struggle, right? Not in their
Well,
position,
think how
but
many people come out of the amateur ranks and never win. Look
exactly.
at Alessi.
Yep, exactly.
You know,
So, but yeah, solid ride from Ryder D again. Step right in direction. Solid top 10. That's awesome. Ninth overall goes to Max Anstey, 913th. Second race for Max on Star Yamaha. Uh, I think expectations were a little higher with how Southwick and just how good Max is outdoors, but also I don't know how much you can really expect from him. Second time racing the bike, but I would
well, it's
assume
been
they
a
were.
while since he raced the nationals, hasn't it?
Yeah, I want to say 2022. He came out for Red Bud on a Firepower Honda 450.
And
So
I'm sorry, but Englishmen are not built for red bud weather.
I don't know, dude. Max Anstey is pretty gnarly with the years in MXGP and winning Lomo and stuff like that. I feel like their expectations of him even though he's new on the team and his contract doesn't
Yeah,
start.
I know. I don't think Brits are built for that kind of humidity and all that crap. So the fact that he did as good as he did after 2 rides out is saying something, you know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think he has a 2-year deal at Star. So, yeah, Supercross next year outdoors and Supercross outdoors. So we'll see what he does next year, and we'll see what he does the rest of this year. The plan is for him to finish out the season on that team. 10th overall, your boy Mark Finnis goes 11-12 for 10th. That's awesome. Another rookie. I feel like he gets overshadowed a little bit. You have Cochran and those guys, and Bo Mayer, who's out unfortunately with an injury, but Mark Finnis 11-12 for 10th. Solid from Mark, and yeah, he's
Club life,
fast.
man. Those guys are kicking ass, dude.
They are. I agree. Yeah, I'm stoked for Mark. He put 2 motos together. He's had one moto or a bad moto, bike issues, whatever. But yeah, just solid for Mark, and first top 10 of his career. So yeah, I think the club guys are stoked, and I'm sure he's stoked on that result as well.
Yeah, gotta be.
And then shout out to another Baco boy, Jet Reynolds goes 15-11 for 12th. Solid ride from Jet. Again, I feel like he's
Well,
just
since we can't skip 11th. We went from 10th. Who got 11th?
all right. So Daxon Bennett goes 16-8. Jet, no, I'm joking. No, Daxon Bennett goes 16-8 for 11th. He got top 10 here last year, and I feel like he has shown a lot of speed in Supercross, but this outdoor season hasn't been really what he's wanted. I think he is expected more of himself, but yeah, he just hasn't really put himself up front and finished up front, which again, second year, I guess first full year outdoor. So it feels like he's been around a lot longer than he has, but yeah, 16-8 for 11th. Not bad.
Yeah, I mean he's starting to improve, so that's good. But yeah, let's talk about Junior.
Yeah, so Jet Reynolds 15-11 for 12th. Yeah, first moto. He was up a little bit farther, and then I don't know if he slid back or what, but then that second moto, man, he came out fire, and finished 11th, got 12th overall, his best overall of the year. Put 2 solid motos together, and I feel like the dude's just been building. That 11th was his best moto finish of the year. He's finally got 12 30-minute motos under his belt, 6 races in a row, which is probably a record for him in 4 or 5 years. So
I'm
yeah,
knocking on wood.
I know.
Yeah, the kid's got it under the hood. He just needed to remember how to race. He's got, what was he off for 4 years?
I mean, pretty much he was off and on the bike for 4 years straight. He would be on it, wrist or whatever it was. He just didn't have any solid seasons. And he raced some outdoor races last year up until Red Buddy, missed a couple after Thunder Valley last year because he got in a wreck off the start. But yeah, he raced, I think, 4 races last year, but this is his first 6 races in a row he's put together. He got hurt before Supercross again. He's just had that bad luck. So I think it's probably been really nice for him as far as putting in these motos, getting that fitness in as far as racing goes. And then during the week, I think it's just, obviously that's going to help.
That kid does not lack confidence. He's just
I know.
The conversations I have with that kid are so
Yeah.
hilarious. I wish I could repeat some of the shit that comes out of our mouths, but he when it clicks for him, he's gonna make a big leap. I think he's gonna be like, where the hell did he come from? He's not gonna be running 12th overall. I think you're gonna see him get up 5 to 8 overall, like in the next couple of races. I really think he's going to do it. He's just kind of being quiet and just doing his thing and getting his laps in. But I mean, if you go back and look on his Instagram at some of his old riding footage before he got hurt that first time, holy crap, that kid can ride a bike.
Yeah, and I've seen him ride out here, and just being at the same track as him and watching him, that's a guy that is a professional that knows how to ride a dirt bike. And so I think the approach he's taken this year has been good, right? I'm sure he wants to be in the top 10, which I'm sure he'll get there by the end of the year. But I think what he's doing is smart and solid for his program. And again, second moto, he got 11th. That's a great result. There's a lot of fast guys out there, and it's almost like he is a rookie, which again, he should have been in the class 3 or 4 years by now, but injuries and everything, this is his rookie season. So yeah,
I
so
really hope they re-sign him at Club. I think Club is a great home for him, you know, and
yeah. And I don't see why not. Again, he is a California boy, so he likes it out on the West Coast, but
I couldn't agree more. And I think he's gonna really, really surprise some people here before the end of the summer. And I think he's gonna make a big jump. And couldn't be happier for the kid. I like him a lot. I like kind of the underdog, and lack of a better term, I like somebody who's kind of a screw up who figures it out and gets their shit together. I was a lot like him when I was a kid, and I like to see that he's like, okay. I like that he only did that 1 year contract,
mhm.
and hey, if I don't get my shit together, then why waste anybody's time, right? And
Yeah.
so I respect him a lot for that. A lot of kids his age probably wouldn't say that kind of thing, and so
hmm
um, yeah, just seeing that kid get some, it makes me smile.
Yeah, he could have sat back and said, "Why me with all the injuries and losing his ride and this, that, and the
Yeah, he's
other."
not a pussy, dude.
No, no, for sure. And he's making the most of this opportunity. And again, I don't, if he wanted to stay at club, I don't see why they wouldn't re-sign him. It seems like it's a good fit. It seems like everybody around there gets along. So yeah, stoked for Jet this year, and hopefully he can just keep it rolling and stay injury free. That's just what he needs.
Yep.
Before we move on to the 450 class, I just want to mention the point standings for the 250 class. Hayden Deegan has a 42-point lead over Chance Hymas and a 43-point lead over Joe Shimoda or Tom Vial. You
So did he
know,
gain 1 point this weekend?
no, it was a wash because of
Oh
that.
yeah, it was a wash. Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so Hymas would have had a 5-point gain on Hayden for the championship, but because of that red cross flag, it was pretty much a wash. So for as bad as a weekend that Hayden had, really worked out in his favor for the points. So still the red plate holder, still almost has a full race lead over those guys. And I can see people getting in there like they did this weekend, but I still think it's Hayden's championship to lose.
Yep.
Jumping to the 450 class, we all heard the news. Jet Lawrence is out this weekend, thumb injury. He was there at the race. Really opened this championship open between Chase and Hunter. And yeah, Chase went 1-1, but it wasn't as easy as it looks on paper. That first moto, Hunter was out front the 30 minutes and then ended up having that issue towards the end of the race. And Chase was pushing. You could tell Chase
That
wanted.
wasn't an issue. That was an oh shit.
It was. But I saw, and I was even telling my wife on the couch as we were watching, Hunter had a few close moments that first moto before he actually had that get off. I think his hand came off a couple times on that jump before the triple step up, not LaRocco's leap, but on the other side of the track. He was on the edge, but he was pushing, and I think he had Chase on the ropes. And again, and then he went, he had that get off going down the hill. He
Yeah,
hit his.
he was able to pull away from Chase on multiple occasions, and I was like, oh shit, look at
Mm-hmm.
this.
Yeah.
He's picking up right where Jet left off. When he gets close, he just kind of wicks it up a little bit, which I thought was really impressive. And then
Yeah.
he got bit, and that was that. And Chase rode off into the sunset in Moto 1.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like I expect so when Chase got by AP that first moto, I was like, okay, Chase is gonna catch Hunter and see what he does, but it was getting close towards the end. So without that fall, it would have been more interesting to see what happened and how that would have played out. But yeah, bummer for Hunter. He goes down. It was pretty nasty crash, and he said he was fine, but he ends up fourth in that second moto, which you wonder if he had a little bit of lingering effects that first moto. He mentioned on the podium that maybe his head a little harder than he thought whenever he was racing out there. He felt like he was limited, almost had like a regulator. He can only go so fast. So hopefully that doesn't play into a factor too much, because now that Sexton went 1-1, solid ride from Sexton, but he only has a 7-point lead over Hunter Lawrence, who had a 3-point lead coming in. So yeah, a 10-point swing.
And this is exactly what people expected from Chase.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
good on him.
And again, one more thing on Chase. Obviously, that second moto was really solid. He looked like he was out there just play riding, hit 20-second lead, and then he gets off the track and dude, the dude didn't even break a sweat. Like it's insane. His fitness is next level, and he just gets off the track and is like, "Oh yeah, it was good race, it was fun." But it's
Yeah,
gonna be
he was on Hunter like a fat kid on a cupcake, and I kind of wonder if some of that played into some of those mistakes.
could
You
have
got to
been,
think
yeah.
it did. And is he just kind of okay, studying the Ryan Dungey method, I'm just going to be there all the time, and if you make a
Yep,
mistake, I'm going to capitalize. And
yep. And
I
he's
mean,
probably
Dungey
not.
was a legend.
And he's probably not worried about it. I think him and everybody else out there knows that he's, if not the fittest, one of the fittest guys on the track, and he's not
Oh,
fading.
bar none, dude. That guy's
Yeah,
an
yeah,
animal.
he's a stud. So those guys know if he's right there, that he's not gonna get tired. So I could, like you mentioned, I could see that might have put some extra pressure on Hunter, causing that mistake he's trying to push the last couple of laps. So yeah, Chase won one. Aaron Plessinger goes 4-2 for second overall. Man, that was an awesome podium scene on TV. AP on the podium at Red Bud. Yeah, the place loves him. He loves the place. That was just awesome to
Yeah, and
see.
he felt like shit today. I guess his sinuses were all messed
He
up or something.
Yeah, he was sick. And I don't know if you caught it on TV, but after that second moto, after he got up from after where they're behind the podium getting water and stuff, he got up and he looked like he was hurting. So,
Yeah, his hair was it was more scraggly than normal.
hey, are we calling that a mullet anymore, or is that a skullet?
It's going out of business in the front and party in the back is what I call it.
I don't know. I'm gonna start calling it a skullet because there's not a lot up front anymore. He's not that old, but he's losing the front, but he's got the back. So I'm gonna start calling it a skullet. So maybe he'll put it on the back of his helmet.
Well, he finally
Skullet.
decides to shave it off. He'll look 10 years younger,
Dude.
Right. Hey,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I don't
know.
care, dude. The guy's one of the most genuine human beings on earth, and
Yeah.
he's killing it, and everybody loves him. And for him to podium at Red, if he would have won, like I said, Lot B would
Oh
just
yeah.
spontaneously combusted.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, so solid right from Aaron, 4-2 second overall. It's awesome for AP on podium at Red Bud. It's just if you go there, if he's not on the podium, it's not the same. Talk
Right.
about Hunter, 2-4 for third, lost 7 or now down 7 points to Chase, and we'll
So
see.
that was a 10-point swing then.
It was, and we'll see if that wreck has any lingering effects. Which it was a pretty big slam, but I think by the time a week goes around and he gets some
He
rest
ate
and stuff,
shit, dude.
he
He
did.
hit the ground hard.
He did. The TV doesn't do that hill any justice, and it's bumpy and it's pretty downhill, and he hit the ground pretty hard. So hopefully that doesn't affect the racing moving forward because Chase obviously has a lot of confidence after this weekend, and I feel like Chase is thinking he's the guy to beat, obviously. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
his confidence went through the roof the other day. I mean,
yeah.
it is what it is.
Jason Anderson 5-3 gets a podium that second moto, and I feel like this is where Jason belongs. He's got that start that first moto, or that second moto, and yeah, he went for it, and yeah, he got shuffled back to third. But 5-3, I know he went to the podium. I like his comments about those bonus checks for the podium. So he's bummed to miss it by one, but again, solid ride. I feel like he's had solid rides, but it's been hard for him to put two motos together. So it was cool to see him finally get both motos together. So
Yeah, he looked stoked on that podium, dude. He
oh yeah,
was, we kind of clicked on driving home. I was like, I popped it on, and it was in the middle of the second 450 moto, and he was in second place at the time. I'm like, dude, no way! Check this
yeah,
out. And Nate and Jason go way back to the New Mexico days. So
yeah.
Nate about drove off the road. I'm like, dude, no, quit looking, drive.
Seriously.
Uh,
Then Justin Cooper goes 3-6 for 5, fifth overall. So he had a good first moto, made his way up, got that moto podium. And then second moto, he ended up going down in the beginning of the race and then clawed his way back up to 6th. So, I
Who was
saw
he bird dogging right up to the end of the moto? That was Fernandez, right? Ferrandez.
second
Yes.
moto. Yeah, he was right on Ferrandis, second moto. And he came from pretty far back. Like I said, he had that issue. I think it was a first or second lap where he lost a lot of positions. And I saw his social media post. He was stoked at that first moto podium, which you know, he's had some pretty good speed for being a rookie on a 450. And to get back to sixth, with all things considered, yeah, solid ride from Jay Coop. I feel like he felt like he was a podium guy today, but yeah, you know, things happen, but still overall solid fifth overall. I don't think he can be too mad about it.
You think Star resigns him?
Yeah, that's the hard part is I think they should re-sign him. So you have Webb next year under contract, which I know his salary bumps up because they thought Tomac was exiting. But now you hear that Tomac wants to come back. And Jay Coop has been kind of that guy that's been waiting for somebody to leave, right? I don't know though, because you know, Rockstar Husky, I heard they were talking to him, but they're consolidating Husqvarna and Gas, so they're not going to add any riders. So, you know, Christian Craig doesn't have that ride next year, and Malcolm Stewart has a 450 ride. I haven't heard of them adding any additional. I can see that.
The smart play for Star would be to, you know, and you never thought I never thought I'd say this, but if it was me, I would let Tomac go and I would keep Cooper because Tomac's long in the tooth at this point, right?
Yeah.
He
Just
maybe has
long term. Yeah.
yeah, year or two left, and Cooper's at the beginning of his career. He's a champion, and looking at what he's doing his rookie year, at some time you got to make a business decision, and I think that would be the right one to make. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see that happen. But boy, what a shitty decision that it would be to make.
Yeah, and for some reason I feel like Tomac just has an open. Basically, if he wants to come back, he'll come back. They'll let him come back. But for whatever reason, Jacob's been underrated. He's had a solid. I mean, he was awesome on a 250, Supercross regional titles, super close, always good outdoors. Road
I could see
part-time.
it being somewhere they brought Tomac back at a low salary or something, and bonuses or something like that from Yamaha. You know, I could see something like that working. But you know, if the team doesn't have the budget, you know, if you know
Yeah, and
Tomac was kind of talking about being out, and then you decide you want to stay. Well, when you make a business plan, you got to stick to it. I
yeah,
mean, they're probably doing everything they can to sort it out, but
for sure. And you know that Cooper's salary is probably not what it should be because he's been kind of on this waiting game, waiting for, you know, Tomac to exit so he can get his spot there. And for the results he's been having, I'm sure he's expecting, you know, to advance his pay because I'm sure again.
well, I'll tell you what, if I had his paycheck, I'd burn mine.
Yeah, me too. Oh yeah, all day long. So, but yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what happens to that whole situation. But if I know him and Star and Bobby Hewitt, they've all, you know, had a good relationship. So if anything, I can see him back there on the third bike again. But again, it'd be, I'm sure he wants to feel
Bobby
like
Reagan, you mean, right?
Bobby Reagan, yeah. Oh, I said Bobby Hewitt, but yeah, Bobby Reagan. So I feel like Jay Coop just wants to know he's got a home for a couple years because he's been on these 1-year deals for a couple years. So we'll see what happens there. Malcolm Stewart, 6'7" for sixth. Mookie Fever. I mean, he's back, you know.
Yeah, and he ate shit in that last moto.
Yeah, I know, dude. He went down the inside rut in that tree corner. You know, he was feeling the just the heat in the second moto grind.
Yeah, but who would think that Malcolm, of all people in the summer, would be improving? You figure, you know, I kind of figured he'd just get through it and survive.
Yeah,
but he's improving, and that, like I said, dude, I've been saying it all summer. I think he's just using this to build his base for 25 Supercross.
I think so, and I feel like it's going to pay dividends. He hasn't raced outdoors in 10 years, and he's missed those gate drops and the base fitness that these guys get from racing all summer. It's a grind, and even though his results have been good, so even if they weren't good, it's still for him being out there and building for next year. I think it's only a positive. So
I mean, though, if he races all through SMX and stays healthy, he'll only have 90 days between gate drops. And when's the last time that dude had that? So yeah, that just puts his mental frame of mind and is just, you know, the quick muscle fibers, all that stuff just is going to be on a completely different level come A1. As long as he stays healthy.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a completely different Malcolm in 25 in Supercross.
Agreed. And then think about all the fitness you're gaining through these, you know, motos, you know, 70 minutes each weekend at race pace where he hasn't had that. So his base will already be at another level.
Him and Jet just ripping through the whoops. I mean, if there's anybody on the track who can make Jet go, holy crap, who was that? It's Malcolm, you know? So
yeah, I hope he can stay healthy.
A bit to see that.
Yeah, it'll be cool. Hopefully he can stay healthy and keep this momentum going into SMX and into next year. Couple more people. We got Garrett Marchbank, 7-8 for 7th overall. Good ride for Garrett. Again, he second race back after that thumb injury he had at Paula Fox Raceway. That also was from Tennessee. So, yeah, solid ride from Garrett. He's
Yeah,
been good on.
Manchild was getting it, dude.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's been solid on a 450. Again, he's probably not where he wants to be, but it's still a good result with the issues he's been dealing with the thumb. My thumb on, a hot, sweaty day, humid day that I know he had a bunch of stitches in his hand from that wreck at Paula. So I'm sure it's not the best feeling, but yeah, he's doing the most with that opportunity. Kyle Webster, 10-9 for 8th, and he led that second moto. I don't know if you guys were wondering who he was or not. He's a
Oh,
guy
yeah,
from
that's the guy from Australia, huh?
yeah, he's from Australia. He's over here, I guess
Firepower Honda.
yeah, they call it so it is Firepower Honda, but there's some other name for it too right
Yeah,
now.
it's a phone company, some X Mobile or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, it's Mobile X. I don't something like that. But anyway, dude, that was impressive. He was up front for most of that second moto. I'm sure he felt the effects of that when he slid back to ninth, but still, he showed for 15, 20 minutes that he
So
had that top speed speed. So that was awesome.
I think he's done on the U.S. circuit for the year. I think he was racing these two races. He had 3 races to go back in Australia, but I chopped it up with him for a minute with him and the team owner from Firepower. Like that dude was cool.
Yeah,
I'd
that's
like to see
cool.
him come back up here and race full time in the U.S. next year. He was definitely cool, man.
That's a cool story. And I think a lot of it too, they're talking about it on the broadcast where he's, really positioning himself if they need someone for the motocross of nations. Clearly, these 2 races he's shown he's had some really good speed. Last weekend at Southwick, he went like 13-7, and then this weekend he goes 10-9, and he ran up front for a while. So yeah, solid. We'll see what happens
Definitely
for
a stud, man. I think he could make some waves over here.
agreed. So good ride from Kyle. Harry Kulas, Hari Kulas, I guess, goes 9-12 for 9th overall. And yeah, from Estonia. Again, he's 32 years old from Estonia. And
Why do I think of Borat when I think of Harry Kulas? I don't know why.
and I guess it's Hari Kulas, but I always say Harry. We're American, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I
Well,
don't know
Grant
much.
Langston was Grant, but everybody called him Grant, so he's Grant. I mean, yeah, leave it. We're Americans. We just what's your name? Yeah, whatever. From now on, you're Grant and you're Harry. Hari,
Grant,
no, you're Harry, dude. Shut up.
Grant.
Welcome to America. You're Harry.
So yeah, I don't know much about Hari Kulas other than he was here last year and had some good results. But again, anytime you're in the top 10 in a 450 outdoor national, you're a bad dude. So props to Hari. Again, I don't know what his plans
Dude, it's
are.
Harry. He's in America now. It's Harry. When we go to Estonia, we'll call him Hari. He's Harry.
Yeah, so solid ride from Harry Kulas. And then rounding out
The
top,
rest of the world hates us, dude.
I mean, it's hard to even understand that language. Let's be honest. I don't even want to get into that. So, rounding out the top 10, Christian Craig goes 8-13 for 10th overall. Solid first moto. Not really sure what happened second moto. I didn't see anything, but again, we know Christian's been dealing with that elbow injury. It still looks like it's bothering him.
Dude, I was
But
sitting behind him at Southwick last weekend, just looking at his left elbow and then versus his right elbow, and I was just like, "Good God, that thing is gnarly looking." It's just
yeah, it's not good.
it's look like he's got a couple of small dumbbells on either side of. Dude, it's just
Yes.
it's brutal. The fact that that dude's out there even racing and getting a top 10 in the AMA 450 class, dude,
Yeah.
that dude's a stud, man. If
I just
don't talk
wonder.
shit about him around me. I'll probably poke you right in the eye and tell you you're an idiot.
Yeah.
That dude's he's definitely earned my respect. He's a savage for coming back from that. I think the dude's a stud.
Yeah, it can't be easy. Again, I've seen pictures of that elbow and you've seen it in person. It's definitely not 100%. And for him to be racing outdoors on an elbow like that, 2 motos in a day, it's probably pretty painful. And I can only imagine he's doing a lot of this because he doesn't, at least what I'm aware of, he doesn't have a ride for next year. Again, Rockstar Huskies just sounds like they're downsizing. They're going to just have Malcolm on the 450, and I think maybe RJ Outdoors on the 450. So I'm not sure where this leaves Christian. He's probably trying to market himself a little bit. I don't know if like HEP or club or who knows. We'll see. I don't know what the future holds for Christian Craig, but yeah, we know he's got
Club
the
might be a
talent.
good fit for him with Garrett leaving.
Yeah, and Nicoletti's out too, right? So yeah, I good bikes, solid program. I don't know if you'd want to necessarily move to the facility with his family, but again, that's something that he will have to figure out. I'm not sure.
Better than no ride if you want to keep racing.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, solid ride from Christian. Just a few more people I want to mention. So Brock Tickle made his racing return after I think 3 years. Bad starts from Brock. He was never known for his starts, but he goes 12:15 on the day. Again, a test rider for Kawasaki. Showed speed, but if he just couldn't get the starts, but
What was his overall?
13th, he went 12:15 for 13th. So
I
again,
wonder.
not,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say for not racing for 3+ years, not bad. I'm sure the nerves were pretty high going into the weekend.
So being a guy on his level and the success that he had as a racer, then to go be a test rider and develop that bike, and you can do all the motos you want against all the people you want, but till you get in race conditions, I wonder if there was a moment out there on the track you went, ah, shit, man, I got this all wrong, dude.
Oh, dude,
You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine if you're out there like,
no,
oh, I really shit the bed on that one, And,
or
yeah, we're gonna nudge it in the right direction. I doubt it, but I was kind of thinking of that and kind of laughing to myself when I was like,
yeah,
oh man, can you imagine if you got out there and went, oh shit, I got this all wrong, But I
yeah.
don't think he did, But
I
I
could
don't know, just
I could see him
funny,
before the
stupid comment.
I could see him before the start of a moto. Like I've been there, obviously not at their level, but where you're sitting there and you're like, sounded fun, and then you're just thinking about the battle you're gonna have and the start and all the risks you got to take, and sometimes you're just like, dude, why the hell am I doing this? Where he's like, I can go ride on a Thursday at Glen Helen and test the bike and go home. So
Oh, 25 minutes into that second moto, he goes, yep, I'm done with this shit.
dude, yeah, he's probably like, all right, I'm just a test rider. But yeah, saw it for Brock. Cool story. It was cool to see him get back out
Yeah.
there at the race. So yeah, wrapping up the 450 class, Chase Sexton now has a 7-point lead over Hunter Lawrence. Justin Cooper is 48 points back. So I feel like, again, it's still a Sexton Hunter Lawrence battle. And yeah, we'll see what Hunter can do, but I feel like Chase feels like he's the guy to beat right now. And, Hunter gets those starts and was strong, but I just don't know if he has the raw speed that Chase has. So it'll be interesting to see as we go to Millville next week. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot different without Jet being there.
Who do you think needs to improve the most in the 450 class over from this weekend?
I don't really look at the guys, outside the championship hunt. I just feel like it's just up and down, and those guys are just out there doing their thing, trying to get good moto scores because they're out of the championship. So I feel like you'll see Jay Coop and AP and Plessinger and Anderson. They'll be mixing it up for the podiums, but I really think if Hunter wants to be a real title contender for the rest of the series, he's got to do something next weekend, at least in a moto, show Chase that he's for real and he has the speed to where if you let Chase go 1-1 again, I just think it's gonna be all she wrote. So we'll see what happens next weekend, and anything can happen, but I feel like Hunter needs to do something to kind of chalk up Chase's momentum.
Yeah, I agree. No, well, we're gonna have a interesting Saturday, aren't we?
That's right. So that's it. Anything else from Red Bud? I feel like, again, my opinion, best track on the circuit. The fans were wild. The racing, I was, again, off that first 250 moto, I was an inch away from my TV. Was so stoked for Ty, and yeah, awesome ride by Chase. But yeah, we'll see what Millville brings. But I don't know.
The
Anything
only thing
else?
I'm sad about is that means we're over halfway through the season.
Yeah, it goes by quick, man. Especially the outdoors now only having 11. You got 17 Supercross, 11 outdoors, and then yeah, we'll be right into SMX September. I think first weekend of September. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. So with that, that's it for riders meeting for Red Bud. We'll see you guys for Sight Lap for Millville.